There's still no sound. Why is there still no sound? What is going on here? Maybe it's the wavelength. Now even the stream deck crashed. What the heck, man? This is so annoying. Most of your old games were secondhand games. Yeah, it's well, I mean, you were young enough that you wouldn't have been around for. You are young enough that you wouldn't have been around for a lot of the um releases of like proper old games. Um, but like back when I was like really young, it wasn't like it is now. Um, First and foremost, okay, I have no audio for some reason. What is going on here? Okay, what if I just switch this? Why is there no sound? There's no sound at all. Like nothing is working. I don't understand. Oh, this is gonna be a pain in the ass. If this doesn't work, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. Cause like, what do I? Like it's there, but there's no sound. Even the forced audio monitor isn't working. Because normally it would send out a signal. All right, see you later, Merle. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you being here. No, the game would have audio, but it's not doing anything. And I don't know why. Do they have a BGM test? Some of these have BGM tests. Oh, there's no sound here. Okay, you were right. That's really strange. Okay, well, I don't know. Let's see if the game kicks in with sound. I have no idea. Ty. Okay. Oops, I unplugged the wrong one. Dang it. Hold on. Okay. That's on. Camera froze though. Why did the. Oh, my USB thing is almost dead. Apparently, my razor ripsaw is not fun with me. There we go. Okay, so we got video. We good now? We good now? I think we're good now. Right? Okay. All right. Let's actually do this. Let's actually see if this works now. Why is there no sound though in this game in particular? Maybe the game is glitched. Like the game itself, because I heard sound. Yeah, see? But if I do this, you're getting sound that way. So So there is game sound. It's just not working for some reason. Okay. There we go. The game glitched. It was a glitch in the game. All that for nothing. I was good to go and the game glitched. Okay, we're good. We're good. Right? Turn it off and turn it back on again. This is what I wanted to hear, how epic the music was. I love how she looks like an 80s anime character. Because there was a certain look to 80s anime that's just slightly different than how anime looks now. Yeah, it kind of does sound like TMNT and Battletoads. That's a good mix. Hello, Ultra Knight. How's it going? All right, I've got high hopes for this. I've got high hopes. Let me just see real quick. English. Vibration on. Heck yeah. Ooh. Oh, cool. It even has a curved CRT look. I kind of want to do this. I'm going to try this for a little bit and see what happens. Okay. So, new game. Delete this. Okay. So, they did ask me to check out the blacksmith thing. I don't know anything about this, so the weapons you create here are uploaded online. When the horseman is encountered near mid-level checkpoints, he can drop your weapon or those created by players from around the world. Note, weapons are not uploaded and are only available locally if connection is restricted. Okay. Oh, cool. I can actually draw it. I can actually draw what I want my sword to look like. I'm not going to go dirty, so get your minds out of the gutter, okay? But, oh man. Oh, I'm not even wearing it. But, like, you can actually, like, draw what you want it to look like. I'm not an artist, so I don't know if I want to do this. But I could be like... I could be like this. The Master Sword. That expects me to have a lot of talent. Ooh, and you can pick different colors. Be like the, what's it called? I don't play the game. Gears of War, the chainsaw. Do you know what I mean? How do I erase? X. Hey, Dr. H, how's it going? How are you? You would draw weird stuff. Nice, Nier. I hope you enjoy the Elden Ring DLC. I'm hearing it's gonna be amazing. This is pretty cool. Again, I'm not an artist, so I obviously don't know what I'm doing. Oh, there's no blue for the handle. There. Here's my cool sword. My first upload. There. There's my sword right there. You can set properties too. Cool. I'm gonna call it... Oh, I can't do it with this because it's not a thing. Cool. The Con sword. Obviously, if you're a real artist, you could probably make some pretty cool looking swords. There. Oh, I can set like how much damage it has. Throw damage. Oh, durability go forever. And I can pick if it's like an impact or a cut thing. Oh, did I do too much? There. There's my sword. Boom. I made my first sword. Yeah, that's true. The back of the menu is blue. You're right. You're right. Damage always to the max. All right, cool. So I made a sword. Let's do it. Oh, I like that. I like that one, Lycan. The chain whip master sword with an axe handle. Heck yeah. All right. Ooh. Oh, this is a great song. Cool. It even feels chunky, like the character feels chunky moving it around. It doesn't, like, it feels responsive, but it feels heavy. That's pretty interesting. Oh, does the sword has durability? Yeah, I saw that earlier. Uh-oh. So eventually the sword will break. Yeah, it's very similar to like old arcade games. It's this looks a lot like that Metal Warriors game I was talking about. Ooh. And you can switch weapons. Oh, you can throw the weapon. Okay, cool. Ha. Yeah, this is, if you've ever heard of Metal Warriors DM, that's exactly how this is. But this is like what's it called? Melee weapons. The other one, Metal Warriors, the one I was talking about, was guns. Oh, that's so cool! And look, chain whip right there. There you go. Lycan, there you go. We got the chain whip right here. But yeah, the Metal Warriors was on the Super Nintendo, and it was exactly like this with the gameplay, but you had guns instead of swords. You could have a sword. I think there was one warrior that had a sword, or one of the buttons did a sword. And very, very similar to this. This one looks nicer and does play quite a bit better. But that game was one of my favorite games growing up. Oh, what's this? Oh, you can bring the Paladin over here. Cool. Yeah, so Metal Warriors was very much like, it was closer to Mega Man because you had guns instead of swords and axes and stuff. This is pretty cool though. You give up your weapon for the checkpoint. Okay. Oh, you can get almost like a second jump by going up. Okay. You get a hockey stick. That's funny. Ooh. I mean, I'm Canadian, so I should probably do this. I've never played hockey in my life, but I am Canadian, so... I don't. I want to play Pokemon. I don't, and I haven't since Pokemon Red. So I actually don't know much about Pokemon anymore. But I do want to play Pokemon. I just haven't done it on stream at all. What's wrong? We ain't pucking around, you're right. You are right. Okay. Whoa, what is that thing? He made me lose my weapons. What a jerk. You break your weapon, you can kill everybody on screen. Okay. Right, Weewin, it does feel very old-fashioned. I like it. I like it a lot. I like games like this, so I'm very happy with this. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. I want to say Metal Warrior specifically was just a Blockbuster game. I think Metal Warriors was only at Blockbuster, so it may not have been a game that a lot of people played. But I played that game a lot. I know there were a few games like that where it was just Blockbuster only. And I think that was one of them. So a lot of people may not have experienced it. Now I've played it and I thought it was awesome. This is more arcadey than that was. That one felt like it was a shooter, so it was hard. This one feels a lot more like Ghosts and Goblins, Double Dragon, almost. This is pretty cool. I'm liking this. Yeah, that would definitely explain a lot. Pokemon Red's the very first Pokemon. Red and blue. I don't know which one of the two technically. I think they... What the? What was that? Oh! Ouch. Oh. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Okay, this has actually gotten hard now. That was really close. Oh no. Wait, it's not done yet? That was really cool. What happened out there? It's the end of the world. It's Halloween on Earth. Calm down, Eck. It's not the end. Surely there's scientific explanation. Doctor? Director, the explanation is that the occult is real and they've rained down on us. Hold on. No! I forgot this is a retro game. If you push start, it can skip the thing. It doesn't just pause it. Damn it. Yeah, we would Pokemon, it was a basic RPG, so it was pretty straightforward. It was actually a fairly easy RPG. But yeah, if you don't like RPG games, like when you were younger, if you didn't like RPG games, this definitely wouldn't have been a game for you. I like Pokemon a lot. But I only ever played Red. I didn't really do the other ones because I didn't have the other Game Boy, like the other handhelds. And by the time I started getting them, I was so out of the loop. I only knew the first 150 Pokemon. I didn't know any of the new ones, and although the first 150 were cheesy, now I think they're just stupid. Like, they'll literally be like, Mike Boom Arm Emon, Xbox Controller Emon, Control for my light switch that doesn't really work Emon. It's like, yeah, dude, see, you're not even trying anymore. You're not even trying. You're not even trying anymore. Man, I wanted to do the voice changer, and I wanted to pause it to see if it worked, but I didn't.
Because I think this should work, right?
I think that worked? I don't know. Oh. All right, well, we can try... Oh, they've got a Mexican guy. We've got a guy from Scotland, Switzerland, Greece, Russia. Oh, This is Vlad's mom. Baba Yaga is my mother's name. Egypt. Tanzania. I was like, that doesn't say Tasmania. What is that? Tanzania. China. Japan. Hey, we got Canada, eh? That's Canadian. Lilith from the US, but we also have this from Mexico. Scotland forever. All right, let's try Scotland then. That's two different people from two different platforms talking about Scotland, so let's do it. Did I already pass it? I already passed it, didn't I? There it is. All right. I love that it uses like proper retro sounds. I'm actually really liking this game. I'm really liking this game. Okay, but I'm gonna turn off the... I want to see what it looks like proper. Oh, that's so clean. That's so clean and bright. I don't know. What do you guys think? With filter? With no filter? That was not Miguel. That was my brother. That the chicken skin. You know how it sounds. Scotland. Of course it's castle. So the weapons do break really easily, but it seems like you get them replaced fairly easily, which is nice. I think the only criticism I would have so far is there's all these cool weapons, but they don't feel different. They all feel exactly the same. Jonathan, thank you so much for the rose. I appreciate that. They all feel the same, so that's probably the only criticism I would have so far is that it's a missed opportunity with the cool weapons, not being able to actually feel the difference in them. Modern style Castlevania. My lip earlier and it hurts. I don't feel Castlevania with this, but yeah, I can see why, especially because this is in a castle and all. It doesn't feel like a Castlevania game though. Look at it. Do I need to like? There we go. Jonathan, yeah, this game is pretty cool. I'm enjoying this. It just released recently, or re-released recently on the Xbox and PlayStation. It was out on the Switch, I think is what she told me. And it just got released on the Xbox and the PlayStation. And it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Very, very retro feeling, which is great. Stop it. It's very similar to, like, the gameplay isn't. It just feels similar with, like, the graphics and stuff to Shovel Knight. Reminds me a lot about Shovel Knight. Although this isn't 16-bit. It feels a lot more like 8-bit. It feels like NES. I really like this game. I'm enjoying it so far. Cool that there's also a bunch of little secrets hidden away. Makes you want to hit everything you see. See? Yeah, going back to the weapon thing, this is what I'm talking about. There's a bunch of weapons that you can have for your mech. They don't feel any different, and then I'm this character with my little whip here, but the whip doesn't feel any weaker than the mech does. So it still doesn't feel like there's a reason for the weapon differences. Yes, getting out of the character, you have secret areas you can reach, but it doesn't feel like I'm taking a risk by being out of my mech. I still feel pretty powerful. I hope you can go to Scotland. I hear it's beautiful there. Kendra's parents went to Scotland and they loved it. I think they said they even stayed at a castle. Like they went to a hotel that was a castle. That's what everybody wants to talk to. They don't want you to pay attention to me. The controls are really responsive though, so yeah. Even with the weapons kind of being a wasted opportunity, it's just a wasted opportunity. It's not that it makes the game bad. It's just a missed opportunity. That's better phrasing. It's a missed opportunity. Because they could have made some really, really cool... shut up! TikTok. I'm getting so annoyed by TikTok. Their app is giving me all these alerts for no reason. The same alert over and over again. Literally showed me it 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6 times just to tell me Game Pass is available as a reward. Oh, I don't have one of those. Dang it. Run! Run! I'm about to die. Uh-oh. Not good. Alright, see you later, Joe. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, like we do the same amount of damage as the mech. Like I can kill those guys in one hit. That doesn't seem right for a gigantic mech. I think it would be better if the little character was way weaker, so then you would really feel punished for having lost the mech. Almost, Ty. You should, man. Is everything set up though? Like, are you basically good to go now when it comes to streaming? Oh, I thought I could catch the sword. Wow, that was an insane attack. Uh-oh. Okay. That was actually kind of hard. That was actually kind of hard. He's like that one fable of the, or not fable, the one story of the lion with the thorn in its paw, and it's super mean, but it's because of the thorn in the paw. That's what's happening here. Whoa! This boss is way harder than the other one was. I can definitely feel the sluggishness of the mech. Not in a bad way, not like the game is bad and the controls are bad. It's just you can feel that the mech can't move as quickly as you would like. Like, it can't stop attacking. Once your attack started, you can't just, like, jump away. Uh-oh. Dang it. Okay, now I actually feel that I'm weaker than my mech. Ha! We beat it without the mech. We almost died, though. But we did it. The very well-known fable, Ty. It's the very popular fable. Yeah, and they did that well, Lord. Did you see that? By breaking a weapon, you release its magic spell. A holy blessing can remove a curse. A flaming burst can incinerate your enemies. Why was he so panicked about that? You have enough weapons to upgrade Grit's energy capacity. Visit the laboratory. How do I visit the lab? Oh, X.
Welcome, Plane. You can upgrade Grit here by melting your unwanted spirit weapons. You have enough materials to make an upgrade. Melt down spirit weapons to permanently increase Grit's energy by 50 units.
Huh. I mean, I'm doing it. Yeah. That's all it did? That feels a little bit underwhelming.
There. Now Grit should have a bit of extra energy. That last upgrade used most of your spirit weapons. Return with more weapons and we can see about further enhancements to Grit.
Okay. Now I want to try Mexico. I'm having fun with this game. I actually like this game. That's true, Sylvie. It felt like there was like a whole like past level of bosses that came through it, or not bosses, warriors that came through and just couldn't handle it. Oh. I don't have a sword though. Wait, do these blow things up? No. Oh! I looked away for a second. I normally don't like using the CRT filters in these games, just because it makes everything blurry. I don't like how they look. But in this game, I actually don't like how it looks without the filter. Hey, look, it's Skulltulas or whatever they're called. Alright, see you later. We win. Have a good night. Thanks for being here. Yeah, it's not that it looks worse, it's that it's very, very, like, bright and clean. But because it's 8-bit, the bright and clean almost make the graphics look worse. Like, it makes the 8-bit more jaggedy. Does that make sense? I do like the brightness, the saturation and stuff, but it just feels more jaggedy. Like, it's more, it's just not as nice to look at. With the CRT, it's a little bit more dull, but it adds enough blur to it that it makes the graphics look nicer. Like, this doesn't look bad. I'm not trying to say the game is ugly, just not, it just seems to almost take away from the graphics. But when you're like this, there's the curved CRT, which make it look like an old TV, which is how I grew up playing. This is, oh. Oh, and we actually have lives. I didn't notice that. We only have 2 lives now. Okay. Wonder what happens upon game over. Is it like Mega Man where game over means it's over? We have to start all over again? That'll be cruel. I like it when games do that, but that'll be cruel. You personally prefer vibrant? Not me. Which is fine. I just find that most like really vibrant and cute games, not most, a lot of vibrant and cute games have a very, very high chance of being really shitty. Too many indie devs rely on the cute, vibrant thing, and then their games just suck. Or they're so vibrant that it's almost generic, that there's no, like, uniqueness to it. The same goes the other way when it's too realistic, like games like Call of Duty, where they all look exactly the same. Exactly. They'll distract you from bad story, or even just from, like, pretty boring graphics, by making the game look like vibrant. Oh, I get it now. If I pick up extra weapons, once my inventory's full, we put it away in the treasure, which is what I can use when it comes to, I wonder, do they go off to the treasure chest too when they break? And that's what I'm using for the points? I don't know. I normally don't mind the brighter, like, I like a lot of saturation. My stream doesn't have it anymore, but I used to make my stream very saturated too. I'm a big fan of high saturation, like really bright, vibrant colors, hardcore outlines and stuff. But with this game in particular, because it's 8-bit and 8-bit does look really messy, that just points out the messiness more. Shovel Knight is closer to 8-bit too, if I recall. But Shovel Knight just looked a little bit cleaner when it was vibrant versus all the way back to the beginning. I haven't reached the checkpoint yet. Shovel Knight looked cleaner when it was vibrant. I didn't use any kind of... I don't know if there's a filter on that, but I didn't use one if there was. But this one, I don't like what it looks like without the filter. It's just too jaggedy. That's all it is. The clean edges don't look so clean, but with the CRT, because it adds that little bit of a blur, it makes the lines look cleaner. Oh. Alright, well, we're down to 0 lives. Now I want to see what happens if I die, 'cause I'm not going to make it to the end now. But I'm not going to give up. We're going to keep trying. Yeah, nobody thinks that you're judging us, Sylvie. There's an audience for all types of games, right? Like, they make those really, really bad, like, Nintendo games and the Barbie horse games for a reason. They're objectively bad games, but there is an audience out there that enjoys them, so... nothing wrong with that, right? I saw it right before the stream started. I noticed that there were talks about the new Direct. I don't know what they're gonna show, because the Direct is usually the one that's like not just indie games, right? Like the Direct usually involves proper Nintendo stuff, right? I never know. Nintendo has so many damn things that they're always doing, so I never know what the heck's going on with them. But I'm curious to see what they're gonna talk about, because right now I don't have anything that I think of as like, oh, Nintendo needs to do this. Did they not do a Wind Waker port? What ports did they do? Did they just do Skyward Sword and that's it? I knew Wind Waker HD was on the Wii U, but I thought that they had done... I know that they did Skyward Sword, but for some reason I thought that they had already done the Wind Waker and Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and released them both on the Switch. I thought they had, but I guess not. Yeah, that's what would be my hope. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do that, because this is Nintendo and they want to like squeeze every penny out of every game that they've ever made. Which, hey, all the power to them. But I would be surprised if they actually did that, but I would love if they did that. Because like that would be my third time buying that game. Either of those games. Twilight Princess I never bought on the GameCube. I only bought the Wii one. But yeah, I would like to see a double pack. I would buy it for the double pack. The Oracle games reboot, I would 100% be on board with that. Because exactly what you just said. That's exactly my thinking is they have the Link's Awakening reboot already. I own that one actually. We streamed it and everything. They already have the engine. So they just have to rework the engine. And not even rework it, because technically the Game Boy ones were the exact same game, just with new maps and new storyline. They could just do that onto the engine for Link's Awakening, and obviously it would still be work, but it would be a hell of a lot less work than redoing a whole new game. So like I would love to see that. I've been on that boat for a while. I think that would be amazing to see. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't mind paying the full price for both games. Like if they did like a double pack and it was the $79.99 plus a tax or whatever, or $89.99, whatever the games are costing now. I wouldn't mind doing that. But if they do them separately, then make them like $59.99. Like make them a lot cheaper, so they're actually feasibly affordable. Ouch. Hold on, Ty. I see your message, but I can't see what it says because I'm trying not to die. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think they should do that, because obviously they're not announcing the Switch 2 until 2024, which means it probably won't be out until the end of 2024, beginning of 2025 for like Christmas season or whatever. This would buy them an extra window, right? Like if they announce, oh, we're gonna do the Oracle of Ages or the Oracle remakes or whatever, and they're gonna do Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. If they release those two separately and then do the Oracles as a double pack, I could see that, and that would buy them some time because that would be 3 game releases within the year. And they could even do where like the Oracle games, let's say, are going to be released when the Switch 2 comes out, so it'll be a launch game for the Switch 2, but like they did with Twilight Princess on the GameCube and Wii, where it releases on both, or Breath of the Wild when it released on both. I agree to a certain extent, Lord, because it's not a reskin. It's like they fully rebuilt it from the ground up. If it was something like what they did with The Last of Us, where they did the Last of Us remake and then they re-released the remake on the PS5, or they did like they're doing the remake of what's it called? Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's literally just the same game, slightly upped in graphics. Then I would say, yeah, 100%, I wouldn't want to pay a higher price. But what they've done is they've taken a 2D 8-bit game and turned it into a full-blown modern game. It's a lot more than just a reskin. So them charging a higher price for it is a lot more justifiable than what like Sony's been doing. You know, or what was the other game that was it Red Dead Redemption 1 that was re-released on the PlayStation and it was a full price game? In those cases, I'm like, yeah, it's stupid to try to charge that much money for barely any extra ups. But Link's Awakening is a full redone game, so it's not just they're redoing Until Dawn, really. Oh god. So it's not really the same. I don't think that it's unjustified for them to ask for full price for a game that is fully redone. Whoa. Oh. Because a reskin would entail more that they've taken the same game and just prettied it up a little bit more, but they fully redid it. Because it's a whole new engine and everything. They didn't even take like an old engine. Like, it's different, a little bit different with like, if they did that with Oracle, because they've already got the engine done. But with Link's Awakening, it was a full new engine and everything. Yeah, Sega definitely has the right idea when it comes to that. The only downside to Sega is it's a gamble whether it's going to be a good game or not. Because more often than not, they're not good games, but when they're good, they're really, really good. So it's definitely like a gamble with Sega. Honestly, I can't even think of any games that are actually coming out next year. like any major games that are coming out next year. So I would agree with you that there's not really anything exciting outside of indie dev games that are really coming out. No, that's the thing, Dr. H. You can't guarantee, because that's what happened with, there was a Sega game that came out. I think it was a remake of Sonic 2. I think that's what it was. But when it came out, they got rid of part of the music because they couldn't do the rights. But then they also reduced the frame rate, and there was an input delay in the way that they ported the game over. But the original was amazing, and the second one was like a remake or port or whatever, was just a complete wreck. So it's like that's the problem with Sega, is that they couldn't get away with asking full price because they are so unreliable in their own quality, which is disappointing. I was never a Sega person. I genuinely don't find Sega games fun. Like with Sonic, I only ever played Sonic 2 on the Game Gear, and I don't find Sonic fun. But that's more of a subjective opinion, not that the games are actually bad. They're just not my type of game. But they're just so unreliable. Like you can't blindly say, yeah, I'm gonna buy this game because it's gonna be awesome. You always have the hopefully it'll be awesome. Whereas at least with Nintendo, most of the time the games are awesome, and if they're bad, it's more of a shock. Whereas with Sega, if they're bad, it's like, and another bad game from Sega. No! Civ 7 is the best game for 2025? Oh man. I've never played any of the Civ games. They're hard for me to stick to. It's too much to think of for one thing. The sad part is so many companies are bad with ports too. It's heartbreaking because there are so many good games out there that get ported and it's exciting, but they always hand it off to some like second tier, unproven indie group to redo it, and they always do a poor job. And it's always the original devs trying to save money, or producers or whatever, trying to save money and cutting the wrong corners. And it's always an embarrassment, and it really sucks. Not always, but it's a lot of the time it ends in embarrassment, and it's really sad because there are so many good games out there that being ported would be amazing, and they end up getting done badly because they just choose the wrong devs. Yeah, Resident Evil 3 remake. Such a disheartening remake when the Resident Evil 2 remake was so amazing, and they just didn't do it. Oh my god, yeah. I'm just really glad that everybody is very, very sickened seeing those hero shooters and calling them out for like the crap that they're gonna be. Because yeah, they're nothing exciting. Nothing about them looks unique or even good. I've never been a hero shooter fan, but I can see why people like them, and none of these look like they're gonna actually be any good. Ouch. See, I never beat the original one of Resident Evil 3 Remake. Resident Evil 3 Remake was good. Have you played any of the other Resident Evils? Because out of all the remakes, it's objectively the worst one. Including Resident Evil 1 Remake that was out originally back on the GameCube. Like, it's genuinely a bad remake. It's not a terrible game, but it's a bad remake. It's a really bad remake. You played all of them? Yeah, Resident Evil 2 was head and shoulders above Resident Evil 3, but Resident Evil 3 just in general, as a standalone, was a bad remake. Because it was short, the Nemesis mechanic was completely, like, cut off at the knees. They didn't do a good job with the Nemesis mechanic. It was so closed in, like it didn't feel the way Resident Evil 2 felt, where it felt enclosed, but it felt claustrophobic. Whereas Resident Evil 3 felt enclosed, but it felt like, here is one area, and here is the next area, and here is the next area. It didn't feel like one flowing world. And the Nemesis stuff just felt, it didn't even feel like a QTE, it just felt like a cutscene almost. Because it was so mechanical in the way that they made it. Yeah, it wasn't a very good remake. I would still take Resident Evil 3 Remake over Resident Evil 5 and 6 for sure. But it wasn't a good remake. It was a huge disappointment. I am so on the fence with Fable. I know Fable 3 was horrendous. I never played Fable 3, but I know that was a agreed upon bad game. I played a lot of Fable 1. I never beat it. Played a whole bunch of it. Really liked Fable 1. I don't know how I feel about Fable 3 because they've gone for a very realistic look. And I don't know how that's gonna translate because Fable 1 and Fable 2 were a lot more cartoony and artistic. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with Fable 3. We'll see. Andrew, how's it going? Welcome. How are you? This is I was gonna say Pixel Paladin. This is, what's it called again? It's right below me. Panzer Paladin. It's a game that came out a little while ago from Tribute Games, and they just released a new... Wow, I'm having a hard time with this part right here. They just released this on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One. I'm playing on the series. And it's very, very much... Somebody else named it. It's like Mega Man meets like Castlevania. I compared it to Metal Warrior, which was on the SNES a long time ago. But it's melee, whereas Metal Warrior was with guns. But it's a pretty fun game. It's pretty tough. The big unique factor of this game is that they have something called the Forge, where you can make your own weapons, which is really cool. Like, you can go in and use the little designer and design your own weapons. And then apparently when you get to the checkpoint right before the boss fight, there's a chance of it being dropped in front of you. So you can get custom-made weapons from other people, or you can have your own custom-made weapons show up. The weapons obviously break down, and they all have their different stats. And it's probably my biggest complaint or criticism when it comes to this game is they all have different stats, but the weapons do not feel different at all. Like, there is nothing that makes the weapons feel like the stats actually matter. Because no matter what weapon I'm using, one hit seems to kill a lot of the same enemies. They all seem to last roughly the same amount, so they don't feel any different. So that would be my biggest criticism of this game. But so far, really, really fun. I'm really liking it. I don't know. I really don't know, Ty. I think Nintendo is starting to get to that dangerous territory where the Switch has been around for a while. And for players like me, it's overstaying its welcome. And it doesn't help that it was already underpowered when it came out. So there's not much more they can really do. Like, I haven't turned on my Switch in almost a year. I haven't streamed on my Switch in over 2 years. My Switch is just collecting dust because there is almost nothing there that really interests me. And it's so underpowered now that the things that are coming out, even though they are really pretty, they're starting to really show that the Switch just can't keep up anymore. So I don't think there's anything that they can say that will make everybody happy. But I wouldn't mind seeing one of the Zeldas being redone. Of like the Oracle games. Or potentially a port. I don't see them announcing any kind of 3D Mario game. I don't think they're going to do that until there's a Switch 2 announcement and we have a date for it. Really? I don't know. I really have no idea. Yeah, that was the only reason I did use my Switch, was for like the non-in-depth games or for games that I could only play on my Switch. Because I'm a big handheld player. The physics are really weird on the swinging. I'm really not enjoying the swinging mechanic in this game. Um, the in-depth games that I can't play anywhere else, I like to play on handheld. And so like having that option is nice. So like Octopath Traveler is what I used to play on my Switch. I now have it on my ROG Ally, so I'm playing on that instead. I wish I could play Dragon Age Builders 2 on my ROG Ally, but it's like $80, and I already own it on the Switch. So like that was the only, that was like the only game I was playing on my Switch. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that they'll announce some kind of Zelda port to tie people over, because that would be something worthwhile. But yeah, I can't think of anything that makes me go, yeah, if they announce this, good. I did not, Andrew. I hated Breath of the Wild, and so I had zero interest in Tears of the Kingdom. Like if somebody bought it for me, or if I found it for like $20, then I would buy it. But I thought Breath of the Wild was okay. But when I say I hated it, I don't mean that like the game was a bad game. It was just, for a Zelda game, in my opinion, it was really barely any better than Zelda 2 on the NES. It wasn't an interesting game to me. It lost most of what Zelda was. And yeah, outside of the beautiful graphics, it had zero interest in me. I did play it, and I beat it on stream when the Switch first came out, because, you know, I lined up, I bought the Switch, played it. But then I went back and tried playing it again on the channel, and I think I beat it a second time. But, like, 3 streams in, I hated it. It was like a grind. It was like pulling teeth. It just was not fun for me. So I couldn't justify spending $92 that it costs in Canada, for a game that I was barely going to be able to enjoy. And knowing Nintendo that they don't drop their prices on things, it's probably not going to be a game I'll play anytime soon. Yeah, the Switch is great for old school games. The Switch is great for games like this, like the retro style games, little indie games. And if the Switch was slightly more powerful and a little bit more comfortable to hold, it's such a terrible trade-off, because like the ROG Ally is a bit thicker, so it's more comfortable to hold. Like I played Octopath Traveler yesterday for about 4 hours, and my hands were fine, but I had to be plugged in the whole time because the battery sucks. The Switch, on the other hand, is smaller, so it's more carry friendly. It doesn't weigh very much, so you can hold it for a long time without it being a weight that you're uncomfortable with. The battery lasts a bit better, but then it's also super flat, and so it's really uncomfortable to hold because the controller just is uncomfortable. And it's like for somebody like me with hand problems, it's really uncomfortable to play for long periods on the Switch. That being said, I do think the Switch is a really interesting system if it was slightly more comfortable to hold, and if it had a bit more of an updated chip, and not just like what they did with the Switch, where the chip was already a couple of years old and just slightly overclocked and stuff. I want it to be a modern chip that can keep up with modern hardware, not like PS5 modern hardware, but like the ROG Ally modern hardware. The Steam Deck modern hardware. Then it could do something really well, because Nintendo can really squeeze out every little inch of the CPU and make it look really good with their artistic choices. They had something as powerful as the ROG Ally, or even the ROG Ally, the lower end one. That's the Z1, I think. Even something like that, I know Nintendo could get a lot out of it because it would be so well refined. Whereas like the ROG Ally, although it's a very powerful chip, nothing is refined for that chip, so obviously you lose a lot of power just trying to get it to work. I could see the Nintendo Switch being insanely attractive if it would, like what there's rumoring, that it's gonna be like PS4 with like the upscaling technologies in it. Although PS4 is last generation, it wasn't a bad looking hardware software combo for the PS4, and Nintendo was even better at getting out every inch of performance and with the upscaling technologies, I could see that being very, very impressive, especially at 720p. The PS4, the big thing is they were always going for 4K 1080p. But if they stick with the 720p, 30 frames, 60 frames a second, they could really make insanely good-looking games on the handheld. And the Switch would be really interesting again. But I really lost all my interest in the Switch fairly early on. Just because it was so underpowered, and although the first-party games did look really pretty, the third-party games just didn't feel worthwhile on the Switch. Split Pad Pros? What is that? What is that? I gotta look that up. My eyes are itching and I just... Oh, okay. The hoary ones? The hoary ones? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think the reason I didn't go with that was is that one of the ones that doesn't use the track, right? My eyes watering like crazy now. It doesn't use the track, right? It uses Bluetooth, and it doesn't have like the HD rumble, right? It's just the like regular rumble pads. I think those are like the two big things. A third one that's like a very minimal thing, but like you can't wake up the Switch with it, is, if I recall. I think those three are the reasons that I didn't get that, but I usually only use my Switch in handheld. I mean, in docked mode, so it wasn't worth it because I just use a Pro Controller. Wow. I use a Pro Controller, so it didn't really benefit me enough. And to go handheld, those downsides just didn't make it worth it, if that makes sense. So that was my main reason. But yeah, that pads like that definitely make a huge difference. Like that would make it much more enjoyable for me to play those games in handheld for sure. Bar for bars, how's it going? I will be continuing it probably tomorrow. Tomorrow is my regular stream day. Today is not. But they asked me to play this game to try it out. They sent me this game to try out, and I wanted to try it out. And today just seemed like a good day to try it. The game just released yesterday, or Friday, the Xbox and PlayStation ports, so I needed to play it. But I'll be back to The Walking Dead tomorrow. Whoa. I know, I'm really upset, okay? Really upset that people like the Switch. Yeah, like I prefer handheld. Handheld would 100% be the way that I would play. But I bought the Switch specifically, like it's the double-edged sword. I bought the Switch, man, my eye. I bought the Switch specifically to play on stream. I didn't buy it to play it for myself. When I do play it, it was in handheld mode. But paying $60 or what is it that I'm... It was like 64 or something. $65 for it. And then losing those features for me, it just didn't feel worth it. You know what I mean? And when I was using my, back in the day, now it's not so much, but when I was using my Switch and I was using it on handheld, I was taking it to work. And so making it bigger made it less feasible to take with me. So it's just like all the little things added up to it. I just wish that the Switch was just a little bit more comfortable on its own. And so it was just one of those situations where it's like, it's not worth the extra money it would cost me for the amount that I would actually end up using it. Now I use my ROG Ally a lot, but that's just because I'm streaming a lot more than I used to, and I don't want to sit at my computer to stream or to play games. And so having the ROG Ally makes that a little bit easier. There are also games that don't work on the channel like they used to, and I still want to play games like that, so I can do it there. And they're just not available on the Switch. But I do think the Switch is a good console. It's just not... it just has too many little things that I don't like that just made it a console not worth it for me, that I just don't turn it on. That's why I liked the Switch Lite, because it was slightly better ergonomically. But yeah, I hope that they make a more ergonomic Switch 2 with a bit of a better, but not a better, but addressing the issues I have a little bit better. Because obviously there are going to be some concessions that no matter what are going to happen. Like, it's probably still going to be fairly uncomfortable because it is a handheld. They want it to be as small as possible. Dang it, man. And obviously you're going to have reduced graphics because it's a handheld, and they want to make sure that you're going to get the best battery life out of it. But at the same time, I don't know what's going on. I got my eye stinging so much. I think I got some stuff for like my face lotion in my eye. At the same time, I'm hoping that it'll be an upgrade that's actually worth it. Because like, I personally really like the 3DS. It was uncomfortable to use too, but I really like the 3DS. And if they did address some of those issues, I genuinely think I would use my Switch 2, if you want to call it that, a lot more than I use my Switch 1. What was the point of that? Oh, just to fill it up a bit. But to go back to your original question, I have no idea what I'm hoping for when it comes to the Nintendo Direct tonight. I really don't know what they could announce that would make me super excited, except for those potential remake ideas. But outside of that, there's nothing that makes me go, wow. Like, if they were to talk, like Metroid Prime, let's say. And not because Metroid Prime's a bad game. I'm just not a Metroid Prime person. I'm not excited about Metroid Prime because it's not something that I like grew up with or played a long time ago. So I don't have any kind of excitement for that. But I do think people would be really excited for a Metroid game. But it wouldn't excite me. Oh, I forgot I can jump back too. Like that. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm in trouble. Did I seriously beat it twice in a row? Like, beat two separate bosses being miniature? I'm assuming that's supposed to be a weapon. Yeah, Prime 4, wasn't that? Yeah, that was like forever ago, and they still haven't done anything with it. Did they ever do any Prime remakes? I don't know if they did. Uh-oh. There we go. We died. Oh wait, no. Do I have a instead weapon? I only have two weapons. Oh, this is not good. Ah, it came out last year, okay. Yeah, I don't follow Metroid very much. I don't mind Metroid. I played some Super Metroid, and I really liked it. Yeah, Super Metroid, and I really liked it. I got stuck, and it was really hard, but I did like it. I also... I tried regular Metroid as well. and I really liked it. But I've never. I tried a little bit of Metroid Prime. I hated the controls, and so I couldn't get into them. It was just the controls. It's back when first-person shooters were still not really well laid out on controls, and so the controls on Metroid Prime suck, and I hate it. So I can't get into it. I also struggle with Metroid-style games already because of the backtracking and all that. I get disoriented too easily. That's 100% on me too. That's not that game's like that or bad. I'm just bad at it. Which is why like Hollow Knight is something I want to start playing on the channel, because at least somebody can help me with it, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Ultra Knight, how's it going? Yeah, this game is just recently released, and like they released this game on different platforms a while back, but then on Friday they released this on the Xbox and on the PlayStation, and it's actually really fun. It's hard. There are some criticisms I have, but it's actually a pretty decent game. I don't know if this will be like the next Shovel Knight, because it's just slightly short of that level of fun, but it is fun. Was Metroid Dread the one that came out on the 3DS and got a port on the Switch, or the Game Boy Advance and got a port on the Switch, whatever, or was that like a brand new 2D Metroid game? Ethmaker, is that what it says? Ethmaker, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome. It's the new one. Okay. I think I tried the demo of it. Did they release a demo that was like you get to try for 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever? Is that the one? I think I tried that one. It seemed really, really cool. I almost bought that game. And the only reason I didn't was I had to remind myself that I struggled a lot with regular Super Metroid, and I figured I would struggle a lot with this game too. And the budget is tight. Spending $90 on a game that I might be too mad to actually want to play just didn't seem like a good idea. Yeah, they did. That's the one. Where there's like a robot, like dog-looking thing that can chase you around, right? Yeah. So they had a demo of it. I played the demo, and it was really cool. It was a short demo, but it was really, really, really well done, and I loved it. But it was that idea of, I know I get stuck on Metroid, and I also know that they're going to show you really fun parts for the demo, even if it's just the beginning. But I'm not going to get to experience that really frustrating aspect where I get stuck and I have to backtrack and I don't know where to backtrack to. And so I was like, I don't want to spend $90 and then just be so mad that I don't beat the game, because I have enough of those games already. Like Hollow Knight, I bought that. I didn't pay $90, obviously. I think I paid $30 for it. And I've never beaten Hollow Knight. And at least Hollow Knight was a manageable price. I am going to do Hollow Knight on stream, though. I really want to. Yes, Ethmaker. I will be playing Walking Dead tomorrow. So this is just I got sent this key from this company from Tribute Games, and they asked me to check it out. And I'm really into like these retro style games, so today is not normally a stream day. It's gonna be for the next little while, but it's not normally one of my stream days. And I thought this would be a really fun game to try on stream. You know, and see how it is. And so far, I'm really liking it. We're about to die. I was about to say this boss is not too bad. He's kind of easy, but we're about to die. Ouch. Oh god. Dead.
Whew, this is rough.
Frosty the Scandinavian Snowman. I don't want to use that one. I wanted to use... Oh, because I was looking at the... I don't have any other weapons? No! Okay, we're going to go without a weapon then. I'm going to punch him in the face. You're playing Tears of the Kingdom again? Nice. I hope you enjoy. There was no reason for it to be full price. All right, see you later, Ty. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you hanging out. Have yourself a good day. Have yourself a good day. Honestly, I couldn't tell you about whether or not it was worth being full price or not for Metroid Dread. I don't know how long it was. I can understand why. It was a brand new game. A lot of, I don't know how old you are, but a lot of younger gamers are very tied down to the idea that 2D games just inherently need to be cheaper. And in a lot of cases, yeah, 100%. Like, this game should not be $90. I'm in Canada, that's what it comes out to with taxes. This game should not be $90, and it's not. But it shouldn't be, and it wouldn't make sense if it was. Why, man? Even my nose is stuffed up now. Metroid Dread, part of it is obviously Nintendo being Nintendo. Nintendo always wants to squeeze out every penny that they can, whether it's justified or not. But it was a full new game. Most Metroid games tend to be lengthy. Maybe not 40, 60, 80 hours worth lengthy, but they tend to have some length to them. But we live in a time now where a lot of younger gamers... Man, I have to wipe my eye with something other than my hand. Give me a sec. We live in a generation now where a lot of gamers have this idea that, one, games have to give you an insane level of hours per dollar, which is why we ended up with garbage that is, 400 hours to beat, but it's really only 10 hours of gameplay, and then the same gameplay loop over and over again. Or garbage like Bethesda games, where, yeah, there's a bunch of side missions, but they're all literally the exact same side mission over and over and over again. I would rather have a 10-hour game that's solid and super fun to play versus having a 50-hour game that's completely boring and not interesting at all. That being said, Nintendo does tend to overcharge for a lot of their games, so I can't speak specifically to Metroid Prime or Metroid Dread because I only ever played the demo. But it's very much a different mentality. Yeah, so you're still fairly young, not super young. But you would fall into 26 is still Gen Z, right? Into that newer mentality of gameplay. It's kind of like the graphics thing. This tends to be a bit even younger, but yeah, there's some people in their 20s that think this too. That high frame rate is the only thing that matters in games when it comes to like graphical fidelity. And like so many gamers will have full-blown arguments over games that are running at 30 frames a second being unplayable, or 60 frames even being unplayable, and will argue for that, but don't take into consideration that like in order to get a lot of these games to look like that, they look like they're trapped from like 25 years ago. Because like if you think of Fortnite's not that impressive visually. World of Warcraft is not impressive visually. CSGO still looks like a game from 2001. It does not look good. But you'll still see young gamers going out and buying a 4090 to play CSGO. So you don't need it. Well, I want 400 frames a second. It's like but you don't need 400 frames a second. I do agree that 120 frames a second feels a lot smoother than 60, and 60 feels smoother than 30. But once you go past 120, the differences between like 130 and or 120 and 144 and 244 is so minimal that it's not worth the cost for the video card that could run it at that, or the graphic fidelity to run it at that level. You know what I mean? Yeah, I would say, depending on the game, because I do agree, depending on the game, it would be a lot easier to make 2D versus 3D. Metroid Prime, or Metroid Dread, I would say runs sits on the fence of that, where it's 2D, but it is using modern graphics in the 2D setting. Whereas like this is 16-bit graphics, or 8-bit graphics really. It's not really an intensive game to make look pretty. I do think that it's probably a bit overpriced, but not to the level of like there's no reason for it to be like that, or there's no creativity in it. But I think a lot of the overpricedness would have to just be with Nintendo in general. But then you would have to apply that to every Nintendo game, like the remake of Skyward Sword, and the remake of I don't know, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker on the Wii U. Nintendo just does that in general, and that's a criticism on Nintendo rather than the game itself. You know what I mean? I've never played any. Honestly, Metroid games, if you've never played them, I don't know if you've played like Hollow Knight, or if you've played really any other Metroidvania games, like Castlevania, the more modern Castlevania games. If you haven't, that may not be your type of game, and it would 100% not be worth the money. But if they are your type of game, Metroid was the ones that kind of started that whole trend becoming popular. Metroid doesn't sell well, and it's for the same reason. A lot of people look at it and go, it's a 2D game, it's not going to sell well, it's not worth the price. But you can, like, throw away a bunch of hours into Metroid games if you don't follow walkthroughs and tutorials, because it's a lot of trying to figure out what to do. It's a lot of, you get to one point, it's a dead end, now you have to figure out a different point to get the weapon to open up the dead end. But sometimes you have to open up like 3 or 4 different areas to get to the dead end you just found. And so like that's what makes the game worthwhile. So even though it's 2D, it's not like this where like if I was good at this game, I could conceivably beat this game in a couple of hours, maybe 4 hours. Metroid Prime or Metroid Dread, Metroid games in general, 2D Metroid games, they are very much an exploration game. Resident Evil games are very similar to Metroid games in that aspect. You know how Resident Evil, you'll have to like get a key to a door to be able to get like a lighter so you can light a painting in one of the rooms that you unlocked 2 hours ago, and that painting is so you can open up an item that opens up a box that has another key for the next door. Metroid is very much like that, and so it has a lot of exploration, which actually extends the game a whole bunch. Which is where those games become really interesting to play, but they're definitely not for everybody. They're not really my cup of tea. I struggle with them, but I do think it's a bit of an injustice to say that it's overpriced just because it's a 2D game. I do think it's overpriced because it's Nintendo and they like to overprice everything. But I could understand the justification of a high price for that game. I play a variety of stuff. This is actually a new game. This is a brand new game. It's been out for a while. It's been out, I think, I can't remember what she said, but it's been out for a little while, but I think it was on the Switch. And then they just released it on the PS5 and the Xbox One, or Xbox Series. And they asked me to take a look at it. But right now on my docket for my regular games, I've been playing the Walking Dead games, the Telltale ones. We've been playing Link Between Worlds, and I want to start Hollow Knight. So those are the games I've been playing on the channel. We were playing Dark Souls a while ago, and I was playing Resident Evil 4, the remake, in VR. So I've tried... I try to just find stuff that I would enjoy and that the viewers would enjoy. Today just happens to be a collab day. Like, they asked me to play this game for them, so that's why I'm doing it. Do I like Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild? No. No. They don't feel like Zelda games. That's a big part of it. I'm not a fan of the whole like legitimate open world type of games. I don't mind open world when it's like, I know bad examples, but when it's like the Assassin's Creed games, like the Ubisoft open world style, where, or even like what's that game called that I was playing? Days Gone, Horizon Zero Dawn, where like it's open, you can explore, you can do a bunch of stuff, but there are set points that continue the story. Whereas Breath of the Wild is very much, here's this open world, and you can just find random spots that will continue the story. You can beat the game without reaching any of those points. You could literally just jump off the plateau and go right to Ganon and fight, if you're good enough. Or you can wander around for hours and not see anything. I'm not a fan of that type of gameplay. And then you add that on top of the fact that it doesn't do any of the typical Zelda tropes. Having weapons that break down, not having any temples to explore, not having any like unlockable weapons that you can now use to get to other areas that you couldn't access before. All of that makes the game incredibly boring for me. The first time I played it, I was really excited, but I was excited because it was the Switch. It was a brand new console. It was a new way to explore Zelda. I was just starting to stream, and I was averaging 60 viewers per stream, so it was like an exciting time for me. I went back to play it a few years ago, maybe about 3 years ago. I hated every second of it. After the third stream, I don't think I beat it. I may have beaten it, but I don't think I did. But after the third stream, it was like torture trying to get through the game. I hated it by the end. So when Tears of the Kingdom was announced, it looked cool. I would love to play it, but Nintendo is greedy and they will never lower prices on games. So I'll probably never play it because I'm not going to spend $90 on a game that I know I'm going to just somewhat enjoy. Yeah, and like, I wouldn't even say it's gimmicky. Like, if we're talking legitimately, it's what Zelda always was. Like, the original Zelda games, like the SNES or the NES Zelda games, that's what it was. Like, you could just go and do temples in kind of whatever order you wanted. There was a rough way you should be doing things, but you could work around that and kind of just play in the way you wanted, which was the initial idea. So when they did that, it was very much going back to that original plan. And for a lot of people, they hate the very, you can only play it this way of the other Zelda games. I wouldn't mind if it was open, but I just didn't like that it was so open that it didn't really feel like you accomplished anything by the end of the game. Like, yeah, you unlocked a few of the powers, right? I can only talk about Breath of the Wild because I never played Tears, but like, you unlock a few of the powers, but whether you unlock them or not, it doesn't really feel like you achieved anything by the end of the game. Like, you don't feel like, yeah, look where I started, look where I ended. Because you could end the game with nothing. And so for me, that just didn't give me that motivation to move forward. And it's not just a Zelda thing. It happens for a lot of games for me. I hated, like, I love Soulsborne games. Hated Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring is a shitty game. And a lot of people disagree with me. And I understand why they disagree with me. But I also think a lot of people aren't willing to listen to why I don't like Elden Ring. But that's a big part of Elden Ring is, here, do what you want. And you don't actually feel like you're progressing or achieving anything. And without that feeling of progression, games to me are really boring, which is also why I don't like games like Call of Duty or Fortnite, where I don't feel like I'm progressing. Sure, my real skills are getting better, but if you look at somebody who's played for a day and you look at somebody who's played for 3 years, not their gameplay, but like just look at their avatar and look at what they're doing, there's no difference from the first time player and the 3-year veteran. Whereas like with Zelda, if you look at somebody who just started the game and somebody who's finishing the game, by the end of it, it's like you can see that they have all these different weapons and armor and all this stuff, and you're like, okay, they achieved something by the end. Breath of the Wild didn't feel that way for me, so just not something that interests me to do. so you don't get one shot by Lionels. Yeah, and it's like it was my big complaint with Mario Odyssey. So some people who have heard me have this discussion before will be like, "But you've said the opposite before." But at least but the hearts aren't mandatory. Like you can literally get to the end of the game without having any extra hearts. But it's not a challenge. Like I've done the 3-heart challenge in as many Zelda games as I could, and it's I don't pick up the heart container, so I don't have an extra heart. Like I deliberately avoid it. With Breath of the Wild, you could get through the whole game without collecting any extra hearts, and you could do it accidentally, technically. And having like 100 hearts by the end is something you set out to do. It's not something that adds to the game. It's not something that like when you get to the end of the game, you will have that, so you can say, "Ha! Here's the proof that I got to the end of the game, and this is like the progression I made." Because you could get to the end and have 100 hearts, I could get to the end and have 5 hearts, and we both got to the end of the game. It doesn't give you it's not like Ocarina of Time, where it's when you got to the end, you have the Master Sword, you have the blue tunic, you have the red tunic. You can't get there without those unless you're hacking or using like game-breaking things. And why I bring up Mario Odyssey is Mario Odyssey was just that. So to me, Mario Odyssey is not like Breath of the Wild is a boring game, but it's a decent game. Like I still beat it, and I could still go back and play it and still beat it and be like, yeah, okay. But it's not something that I go out of my way to want to play. Mario Odyssey, on the other hand, I hate that game. Like I think that game is shit. And not just like a bad game amongst good games. Like Elden Ring is a bad game amongst a good series. Breath of the Wild is a bad game amongst a good series. Mario Odyssey just sucks. And the fact that people get really defensive and offended by me saying that shows that they're just fanatics. They're not actually looking at it objectively. Because Mario Odyssey has amazing mechanics, but the graphical choices they made zero sense in the Mario universe for the art style that they chose for Mario. Like it just didn't work to have like realistic dinosaurs and realistic cars and a full-blown city with real NPCs in a game where everything else looks like cartoons. It doesn't mesh well, so it was just not a good choice. And then you add the fact that the moons really don't matter. Like they're an arbitrary checkpoint to get to the next world or universe or whatever they want to call it. But they don't actually matter. In like the other Mario 3D games, like yeah, you have to collect shines, but you need a set amount of shines to get to the next region of the overworld map or whatever. But when you go into the world, you get one shine by doing this very specific activity, and that's how you beat the level. Whereas in Odyssey, it was, here are these like 5 arbitrary things that you have to do, but you don't actually feel like you beat the level by doing these 5 things. And then you still need 8 more of the moons or whatever to get to the next world. And the 8 moons, well, just stomp on this random spot on the map for no reason, and there's a moon. Oh, go talk to this guy and jump on his head, and there's a moon. Oh, go and like break this random block, there's a moon. But you don't actually feel like you did anything to get them. It very much feels like the Zelda Korok seeds, where the Koroks are very much, pick up this rock and there's a Korok. Put this rock down in this specific spot, there's a Korok. Shoot into the sun from this position, there's a Korok. It's a good... Okay, but in at least Breath of the Wild, it was just something that you could just do if you wanted to. It wasn't mandatory to beat the game. Whereas in Odyssey, you needed to do the arbitrary side mission to beat the game. Odyssey was just a bunch of side missions. So it's objectively a bad game with really good mechanics, which really sucks. Zelda at least had things that were not mandated you had to do, but it felt like there was something to it at least. Like when you did go and like reach and help the Falcon guy, you got a power up, but at least you got part of the story. So it felt like there was something there. My gripe is that you could literally beat the game without seeing any of the story, and you miss out on a whole bunch of it, which is also my gripe with Elden Ring. 3D World was a lot more fun than Odyssey. I loved 3D World, hated Odyssey. And with Elden Ring, how you were saying you hated it. One, it's not for everybody because it's intentionally hard. It's meant to be a difficult game. It's meant to punish you, and most people don't like that. The benefits of something like that is you feel really satisfied when you actually complete a boss, when you finish an area, And you're like, yeah, I was getting my butt handed to me, and even though I've leveled up, I can still get my butt handed to me, but now I feel like I've gained some skill to get past this, which is very much retro gaming style. The reason I hated Elden Ring versus all the other Soulsborne games, Elden Ring was so open world that, and I can say this because it happened to me, you could spend 12 hours wandering around in the open field and accomplish 0. And it happened to me because I would wander around for streams, full streams on end, without seeing a single boss because I didn't know what I was doing, because nothing tells you what to do. And people would get really defensive who love the game, and they'd be like, yeah, you can talk to this NPC, except it wasn't a random NPC that you would run into. Like, I'd get to a certain point, beat a boss, and there'd be an NPC that I could talk to, and it wouldn't be like I could talk to the NPC and he'd be like, hey, have you heard of this boss? Well, you need to head to the east to be able to find him. No, it was an NPC that you'd have to talk to 4 times, and on the 4th conversation of like, you know, do you want to buy something or talk to them? The second option, the 4th time you choose that second option, then he would randomly be like, there's this god you haven't heard of and you don't know where they are. People are scared of him. Okay, but how does that help me to know where to go or what to do? And people are like, well, he told you about it, but that was his description. He didn't actually say you need to go to this spot to beat this boss. And so it just felt really stupid. There's one boss in particular that's like this giant boss, and then he rides a tiny horse. I didn't know what the story was behind it. The story's really cool, but to me it just looked like a giant guy riding a tiny horse, so it looked hilarious. It's like back in like the 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, you would see like a bear riding a unicycle, or like a really overweight guy riding a tiny bicycle. And the joke was this giant guy on this tiny vehicle. And it just felt like that. And it sucks because the Soulsborne people, FromSoft, has great lore. They don't know how to tell that lore. And when you have an open world and they don't know how to tell you what the lore is, it just feels useless. And so like, I hated Elden Ring. I thought it was so boring. I played it for a few streams, mainly because somebody bought it for me, and I felt really like, I wanted to really try to like it because I didn't pay for it, and I felt really bad that somebody else paid for it. But after like 6 streams, and each stream was like 3 to 4 hours long, that was more than enough time to give it a chance, and the game sucks. The game absolutely sucks. I don't know. Ethan, I don't know the names of anything. I'm bad with names of everything. But that was like my biggest gripe with Elden Ring. So like, Elden Ring is not for everybody. If you like those open world, like Ocarina, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, really like genuinely open games, then you can get past the difficulty, then it's a fun game. But it's not for me. It's really not for me. Only because ETHmaker, I can't think of any other names. There might be other names, but I can't think of a single other name that has ETH at the beginning of it. But I didn't call you Ethan because I guessed your name was Ethan. I looked at ETH and I forgot it was ETHmaker. And I just saw Ethan and my brain went straight to Ethan. People called you Mark. I could see Mark as well, because Maker. I could see Mark because of Maker. People in general tend to pick screen names that have some significance, whether it's their real name or their like nickname, or if it's like a hobby they really enjoy. This game's cool, it's just really hard. Oh, I don't have a single hammer. Ethan's Mario Maker. I used to play Mario Maker a lot on the channel. Was never very good at it, but I used to play it a lot. All right, here we go. So I guess the Horseman is just like a middle tier boss, like a midway point boss. Because we've fought this stupid horse in multiple places now. Step, come on. Whoa! It's okay, you got the little one, come on. Yeah. Hey, it's my sword! I didn't fill it in, I should have filled it in with color, but there's my sword, right there. We gotta fix my mech, I can't go back. I couldn't get my sword, aw man, that's a bummer. I do. The only one I haven't beaten was the Arkham Knight. And not because I bought it on PC. I've always been a person who likes to buy games on PC if they're available on PC. I do like playing on console, playing on Xbox right now. I actually prefer console most of the times because consoles have more refined controls and they're a lot less finicky. I find PC games can have a lot of issues, so I like console a lot. But I bought the Arkham Knight because I had just bought a video card at the time, and I wanted to play it, and then it was broken AF. And so I haven't played it until almost a year ago now. I started it again, and it was because and it was because I got the ROG Ally, so I started playing it on that, and I got pretty far into it, but I didn't beat it. I think I'm like 80% through the game. So I do like the Arkham games. I've never beaten Arkham Knight. That's the only one I haven't beaten. But yeah, Arkham Knight it still holds up really well. Like graphically, it still looks really nice. Gameplay-wise, it's still really good. I really enjoyed Arkham Knight. Like I said, I never beat it, but not for any reason in the game. I just got distracted and started playing something else. Do I have to fight him again? Oh, my weapon's here. Nice. I've never played Gotham Knights. I never played that, and I'm curious to try it. Like, if it was like $5, maybe I would buy it and try it. Check my likes. Can I actually see them on there? 2.2K, thank you so much, Zay. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's kind of you. Hope your hand doesn't hurt too much. But yeah, I've heard Arkham Knights is bad. If it was like $5, I'd probably be willing to try it because, like, it's supposed to be really bad. But my guess, not my understanding, my guess is that it's bad, but people are probably more upset because the other ones were so good, and this was like one of those games people had really high expectations for, and then it didn't live up to them. So people are more upset that it wasn't as good as they imagined in their own brain, rather than it wasn't genuinely a good game. It probably still isn't a good game, but for $5, it's probably a $5 game. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Arkham Asylum is really good. Arkham City I really enjoyed. I liked all the Arkham games. Arkham Knight was probably the one that I liked the least. Graphically, I liked it the most, but it was the one that I liked the least. I don't like the Batmobile stuff. It didn't work well enough. The levels themselves are very tight. I try to drive a car in that when the mechanics are so broken. It's hard to really feel like you're doing well in the game and to fully enjoy it. So Arkham Knight was my least favorite. It was still a very, very good game. I still really enjoyed it, but I would definitely prefer City or Knight. Arkham Origin was Origins the other one? That one was really good. Hey Preston, how's it going? Yeah, I'm almost done though. Stream is almost done. This is a game that a company sent me out to try out for them. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. For the last little bit, I'll play without the filter. It's not a bad game. Arkham Knight has the best combat. Why do you say that? And not to like be like, no, you're wrong. I don't pay enough attention to combat, so to me it doesn't feel different than the other Arkham games at all. I really enjoyed City. I thought City was really good. It would be a toss-up for me whether City or Asylum is better. City has the benefit that it is more open world, so there's more exploration to do. Asylum is very much corridor after corridor after corridor, so it's a lot less interesting where you can access. But it's more Metroidvania. Like, you have to go back and forth quite a bit in that game. City was more refined than Knight was when it came to like weapons and the things you can do. But with Arkham Knight, I don't remember it being significantly different than City was. But yeah, Preston, they released this game a while ago on, I think it was on the Switch. I can't remember, but they just released it on the Xbox Series and on the PS5. And so they sent me a key and asked me if I wanted to take a look at it. And so I thought, yeah, why not? And it's pretty good. It's hard though. There are a couple of criticisms I have of the game, mainly being that it allows you to design your own weapons, which is really cool, but the weapons don't feel any different between the weapons, outside of like some have a bit more of a reach than the other ones do. But like damage doesn't feel any different. And even like the little character, when I get out of my mech like that, it only feels like the mech is slightly more powerful than the little character. It doesn't feel that different, so I wish that was a little bit better. And there's a mechanic that the little character uses that you can swing on things, and the physics on the swinging is really broken. Those would be like the two things that I would criticize about the game, but outside of that, the game is actually really fun. If you're into like Nintendo style, like NES style retro games, 8-bit mech games, this is really fun. I kind of wish that there's a button you can press to evade. I kind of wish that the evade button made you invincible for a couple of frames so I could evade that attack. But overall, it feels good. It's very responsive, but the character feels really heavy, which is perfect because you're in a mech. I've only been able to beat 2 bosses. It's been really, really hard. Then I died. Yeah, it's that's why I was using the filter earlier. I'm glad that you said that because that's what I was bringing up earlier. Somebody had mentioned that they liked when it's more vibrant like this, and I was saying I didn't really like it because it's hard to kind of see what's happening. That's why I was using this. The CRT filter gets rid of a lot of that jaggedy bit look, and makes it smoother, makes it look a lot more like a cartoon. It makes it look more smooth, which makes it easier to look at what you're doing. And it's a lot more enjoyable this way. Yeah, right? This is way better. Because I had said that, somebody else, a couple of other people agreed with me in the chat, but somebody was like, no, I like it when it's more vibrant and popping. It looks better that way. And it's like, no, it's clearer this way. It looks smoother this way. And I normally don't like this fake CRT filter. I'm not a fan of it. I think it takes away from the graphics. But in this case in particular, it looks way better with the filter on. But what do you mean improved on them, Ultra Knight? Because I don't know how it's been improved. Because like, as far as like having all the extra mechanics, I would say it's the same with Arkham City. It's got the same mechanics. There's no new mechanic outside of the car in Arkham Knight that is like really different. It's basically the same thing. Even like the grappling bat cape thing to float around. I even felt that was better in Arkham City than in Arkham Knight. The car was the big thing that was different in Arkham Knight, but the mechanics all felt pretty much the same in Arkham City, at least as far as I can remember. Yeah, the controls are pretty good. The only part that's rough on the controls is, like I said earlier, the swinging mechanic. Because like, I can get out, right? I can be this character, and this whip can grab onto certain things and swing. But the swinging is too... You have too much control on it, so that the physics don't exist. Because in most games, when you're swinging back and forth, when you let go at the peak of the swing, you're always going to have the longest jump, and this doesn't seem to be the case, and I haven't figured out what it actually does. Like, how to make the swinging work the way that I want. So swinging is really frustrating. The last level I was doing, that's the reason I kept dying and I got game over multiple times, I couldn't get the swing right. And you can't get past the area without swinging. So that would be the only thing that the controls are really weak on. But like, the character feels like it responds exactly how you want. Again, the only thing I would say that they really need to work on, here's a swing right there, that they really need to work on to make it worthwhile is like right now, I'm this little character, I'm outside, yes, I can reach areas I can't with the big character, but I don't feel vulnerable like this. There's another game called Metal Warrior that I used to play on the Super Nintendo, and on that one you can also do the same thing. It's mechs and you can get out and be a little character, but in that game in particular, when you got hit, you would die instantly. Like, you felt like there's no choice but to be in a mech, which then made this a much bigger risk versus reward. And in this game, it doesn't feel like there's really a huge payoff for being a little character. Yeah, the hair looks... Oh, my hair. Thank you. I'm not enjoying it at all, and maybe on video it looks supernatural. In real life, it really doesn't. Like, I can't wait for the 2 weeks to be up so I can get off. Let's put on the other system again. Like, the system itself is good. It's the wrong color. Like, not even slightly off. It's way, way off. Yeah. And that's not me saying that the system itself isn't worth it because they got the color wrong or the company did something wrong. It's 100% due to the fact that I am wearing something that this is the only option they had. They didn't have a darker option like what I would need. And this is what they're promoting, so I had no choice but to use this one. But no, it doesn't look natural at all. The front hairline is the best one that I've had, but it doesn't look natural at all. gotta get better at the dodge mechanic. I'm really bad at it. I actually beat him with my mech this time. I remember the freeze boss being pretty difficult in City. I do remember that. I don't remember why it was difficult. It's been probably a decade since I played it. I don't remember why it was difficult, but I do remember it was really difficult. I remember having to do it a bunch. Yes, so you have to give up a weapon to use a checkpoint. You give up the weapon to use a checkpoint. You have durability in the weapons. Apparently, the weapons all have different stats. I don't see the different stats. That's like the biggest thing that's a lost opportunity in this game. Is the weapons all feel exactly the same outside of reach. Like this one's shorter than this one, so this one reaches further. But it doesn't feel like the weapons are actually any different. They don't feel like, whoa, I really want this weapon over the other ones. Because most enemies get taken down with roughly the same amount of hits. There might be a difference of like 1 hit or 2 hits between them. But not enough to make you go, yeah, this weapon is definitely an upgrade. And then at the end of the level, once you beat the level, you can go into the laboratory or whatever, and you can actually break down the weapons to upgrade your character. The upgrades are basically just like your health goes up, but there's some cool like mechanics here that make it interesting to play. Yeah, he does learn from his mistakes. Now that you're saying that, I remember that Ultra Knight. Yeah, like you can use one technique to hit him, and then the next time he won't let you use that technique. Which I think is awesome. I do like when bosses do that. It does feel cheap at times. It's frustrating at times because you finally find a way that you're gonna make it work, and it doesn't last for very long. But yeah, that adds to the difficulty for sure. Not worth it. Oh no! Okay. Stream's almost done though, everybody. I've been live for a couple of hours and I'm not feeling so great. Yeah, Arkham Knight. Honestly, I don't remember many of the boss fights in Arkham Knight. I remember everything to do with Arkham Knight, and they were always in the car. And that was just not interesting to me. That was not fun at all. I hated the car mechanic. I thought that the car mechanic was horrible in Arkham Knight. And having to constantly fight the Arkham Knight in the car just really took away from the boss fight itself. Boss fight is hard. This very much has that retro feel. It doesn't hold back any punches when it comes to the way you fight these enemies. Yeah, the car is so much of the game, and it's just really stupid. Because they didn't do a good job with the car. The mechanics in the car was not fun. Like, they weren't... It didn't feel right. It didn't feel like it was going to do what you expected it to do. Oh, I didn't hit throw my knife, whoops. And the things that it did do, they weren't well done. It wasn't well executed. Which sucks, because the rest of the game, like the Batman part of it was really good. But yeah, the car stuff, like forcing you to use the car for boss fights was just stupid. Man, oh man. I don't know how many more weapons. Alright, we're just gonna do it. Oh, we're about to die in the human form. We're so close. Can I just beat Medusa? I would really like to beat Medusa before the end of the stream. No! Ah, look how close we were to Medusa's being. Ah. Ah. Oh, it takes me all the way back here. Dang it. I don't know. I tried playing it again Ultra Night, and it just did not hold my attention the second time around. Or not second time, when I went back to it. I want to say I defeated the Arkham Knight, and then it was just like the final part of the game that I have to do. But I couldn't stay, like, hooked on it. Once I get this game over, everybody, that's where I'm gonna stop. I'm getting really tired. I do mind, because I don't know if I will or won't. Sometimes if I'm desperate for a game, I may just throw it on just to see. You know what I mean? I don't really like spoilers, even if it's a game that I don't plan to play anytime soon, because who knows, right? Sometimes I'll get, like, when I first bought it, I only played till about 10% of the game, and then I never touched it again until I got my ROG Ally, and then I got it up to 80%. Like, even now, I've never looked up any Elden Ring bosses, even though I don't like Elden Ring. Because you never know. Maybe I'll want to play it and change my mind. This isn't good. I have no weapons. Really hard to kill. What's up with this guy? Finally, and he didn't even drop a weapon. I appreciate that. I appreciate that alternate. What? Gotta say, this guy looks really funny. Got no neck. Hey, is it Big Ed? This might be Big Ed. Okay, we got one weapon. Which then I give up for the checkpoint, which we're on our final life, so no checkpoint. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah, it very, very much feels like I'm playing on that NES right now. Like, it does not feel like a retro theme without the retro feel. It genuinely feels like a retro game. They did a really good job with this. Because, like, even the criticisms I've had, they're nothing that, like, wrecks the gameplay. It would be better if they did address a couple of things that I was talking about, but even with those issues, still having a good time with this. This would be the kind of game that I would throw on those days where, like, I don't really want to sit and pay attention to a game long term. Where I just want to kind of have it on and just mindlessly go while, like, I'm watching YouTube or while I'm, you know, waiting for somebody at, like, a doctor's appointment. Every time I get really close, she starts getting real aggressive and takes me out. Dead. Ah, we got really close. We got even closer that time. Oh well. Oh, man. You were looking at something else that you thought was the health bar? Oh, man. I tried it, Preston. I did play it on stream. I did not like Cuphead. I was really, really disappointed by Cuphead. Oh, man. Man, oh, man. It wasn't even the difficulty. It's just a boss gallery. Like, the whole game was what you would normally have as, like, a bonus thing in a video game. Because, like, back in the 90s, it was huge to have, like, the boss gallery. You'd beat the game, and then you could just, like, fight the bosses. And that's what Cuphead was. There was no real gameplay. There were a couple of platforming levels, but the rest of it was literally just, here's a new boss. Here's a new boss. Here's a new boss. And it's like, that's okay, but it just felt really phoned in. I was not a fan of Cuphead. Oh, you thought it was the bar? No, that was the weapon's durability. That was the weapon. I thought the same thing at the very beginning too. But yeah, I'm excited for that first-person shooter game that's supposed to be coming out. I think the same people that did Cuphead are doing this one, where they are hand drawing the whole game, and it's a first-person shooter in the same artistic style, but in black and white. I'm just hoping it's also not a boss gallery, because if that's what it is, then it's not going to be for me. But yeah, Cuphead for me was a real missed opportunity. If they had levels like this, I would have 100% loved Cuphead, even if it was difficult. But it was a boss gallery, and to me, boss galleries have never been fun. I've played a lot of games that include them at the end, and I've never looked at a boss gallery, because just fighting the boss for the sake of fighting a boss is not fun for me. But yes, everybody, I am done for the day, so I will be live tomorrow, and we're gonna be playing The Walking Dead. We're gonna continue with The Walking Dead tomorrow, roughly around the same time. So I've been live for 2.5 hours. So roughly around, like, whatever 2.5 hours ago was for you, roughly around then. For me, it was around 2:30. Between 2:30 and 3 o'clock, I'm gonna hope to be alive tomorrow. I don't know if I will actually make it. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. But if I wake up in time, I will definitely try it out to be here on time, and we'll work on the rest of The Walking Dead, because we're on the second to last chapter, so maybe we'll beat it tomorrow. I hope, anyway. But that's pretty much everything for me. I really appreciate everybody hanging out and being here, and that you all have yourselves a great day. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow. If I don't see you tomorrow, definitely won't be live Wednesday. I'm gonna aim for, like, I don't know, maybe Thursday, but probably Friday. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody spending time with me. I hope you enjoyed that game. Again, that was Paladin, something Paladin. I already forgot the name. What the heck's the name? What
what the heck's the name, man? Panzer Paladin. Available now on the Xbox One and or Xbox Series and the PS5. Not bad at all. I really, really enjoyed that game. It's a game that I'll definitely be checking out again. Probably not on stream, but I'll definitely be playing it again. But thank you everybody for being here, and I will see you all tomorrow. All right. See you later, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.